Welcome back from break, everybody. Let's get started on our fifth session, and this is our final session. So let's learn about how people and organizations can get the most out of their Microsoft 365 investments through varying pricing models, continuous support, and licensing options that were really designed to meet your needs. So let's get started with session 5. Now let's explore the Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal. So this portal is for organizations to manage their compliance needs, learn about Compliance Manager and Compliance Score, and which can help organizations manage and simplify and improve compliance across the organization. So after completing this learning objective, you'll be able to describe the Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, describe Compliance Manager, and describe the use and benefits of Compliance Score. The Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal brings together all of the tools and data that are needed to help understand and manage an organization's compliance needs. So the Compliance Portal is available to customers with a Microsoft 365 SKU with one of the following roles. So you need a Global Administrator, Compliance Administrator, or a Compliance Data Administrator. There's also the Compliance Scorecard, and this card shows your overall compliance score and will forward admins to the Compliance Manager where they can see a breakdown of the compliance score and understand, where they measure and how they can improve and complete recommended performance actions or improvement actions with controls. So the score essentially helps an organization understand its current compliance posture, and it also helps an organization to prioritize actions based on their potential to reduce risk. There's also the new solution card, solution catalog card, which links to collections of integrated solutions that are used to manage end-to-end compliance scenarios across 3 compliance solution areas. So we've got the information protection and data lifecycle management section, and that shows us how to use Microsoft Purview compliance solutions to protect and govern data in the organization. And the insider risk management section on the homepage shows how your organization can identify and analyze and then act on internal risks before they cause harm. And the discover and respond section on the homepage shows how your organization can quickly find, investigate, and respond to compliance issues with relevant data. The active alerts card includes a summary of the most active alerts and a link where admins can view more detailed information such as alert severity, status category, and more. Let's dig into Compliance Score or Compliance Manager here. So Compliance Manager is a feature in the Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal that helps admins to manage an organization's compliance requirements with greater ease, essentially. So Compliance Manager can help your organization by assisting them throughout the journey by taking inventory of data protection risks, managing complexities of implementing controls, and then staying current with regulations and certifications. So this also helps you report to auditors. So you can keep an eye on this and then improve as you're going through it, and the score will continue to reflect on that. Compliance Manager helps simplify compliance and reduce risk by providing pre-built assessments based on common regional industry regulations. So you can just kind of pick and choose the template that you want to use and then see how your organization matches up. And it'll also suggest improvement actions in order for you to get compliant with that regulation. There's also workflow capabilities that enable admins to efficiently complete risk assessments for the organization. And then there's step-by-step improvement actions as part of the Compliance Manager that admins can take to help meet regulations and standard relevant to the organization. So some actions will be managed by Microsoft as well, and you'll be able to see that on the side. So what Microsoft has already done versus what is required for your organization to do. So the compliance score is ultimately a calculation that helps an organization understand its overall compliance posture by measuring how it's progressing with improvement actions. And controls. So a control is a requirement of a regulation, a standard, or a policy. So it defines how to assess and manage the system configuration that organizational process and the people responsible for meeting a specific requirement or regulation, standard, or policy. So if we're talking about regulation, standards, or policies, this is where you're going to be wanting to focus on that control aspect. So Compliance Manager tracks the following types of controls. We've got Microsoft Managed Controls. So those are controls for Microsoft Cloud Services, which Microsoft is responsible for implementing. Remember, this is a SaaS solution. So Microsoft has a lot of controls that they're responsible for implementing. However, there are also controls that are sometimes referred to as customer managed controls, and those are implemented and managed by the organization. So remember that shared service, shared responsibility model that we talked about in an earlier module. So shared controls are responsibility for implementing these controls are also shared by the organization and Microsoft. So when we're talking about shared controls, it's split. There might be a part that's Microsoft, another part that's your organization. So it's just keeping those in mind as well. So Compliance Score measures progress in completing recommended improvement actions within controls. And the score can help an organization to understand its current compliance posture. It also helps the organization to prioritize actions based on their potential reduced risk. So what's the difference between Compliance Manager and Compliance Score? Well, Compliance Manager is the end-to-end solution, and Purview Compliance Score is the calculation of the overall posture across the organization. So the Compliance Score is available through Compliance Manager. And then Compliance Manager gives the admins the capabilities to understand and increase their compliance score so that they can ultimately improve the organization's compliance posture and help it to stay in line with compliance requirements. And also, just as a side note, it's a really great tool to utilize to show the improvements that you've been doing, especially to those higher ups who are asking what you're doing to improve your overall organizational score. Well, here you go, a really nice dashboard to walk through it. So the overall compliance score is also calculated using scores that are assigned to actions, and actions come in a couple types. You've got your improvement actions, which are actions that the organization is expected to manage, and Microsoft actions, which are Microsoft managed actions for the organization. So the action types have points assigned to them, and those points count towards the entire, the total of the compliance score. So actions can also be considered technical or non-technical, and those also affect how the impact of the overall score is going to look like. So actions are also assigned a score value based on whether they're categorized as mandatory, discretionary, preventative, detective, or corrective. So a mandatory action would be something that can't be bypassed. For example, creating a policy to set requirements for password length or expiration. That's just necessary. We require you to do that. Discretionary, these actions depend on the user's understanding and adhering to a policy. For example, a policy where users are required to ensure their devices are unlocked before they leave them. So that's not something that we can enforce. However, it's something that is discretionary. So the following subcategories are actions that can be classified as mandatory or discretionary. So a preventative action is designed to handle specific risks like using encryption to protect data at rest in case of breaches or attack. Detective actions actively monitor systems to identify irregularities that could present risks or that can be used to detect breaches or intrusions. So examples of these types of actions are system access audits, regulatory compliance audits, things like that. And corrective actions. So these help admins to minimize the adverse effects of security incidents by undertaking corrective measures to reduce their immediate effect or possibly even reverse the damage. So something that you need to fix, essentially. And so actions that are mandatory and preventative with 27 points provide the highest points value toward your compliance score. So organizations accumulate points for every action completed, and the compliance score is shown as a percentage representing all the actions completed compared with the ones that are outstanding. So keep in mind, this is something that evolves. You can't just look at this once when you deploy your tenant and then walk away. Keep an eye on this. Keep referring back to it. See if there's new actions that need to be taken. See if Microsoft's performed new actions in order to become compliant with a specific regulation. These are all things to keep in mind. So let's dive into the compliance portal. So we'll take a look at Purview Compliance. All right, in this demo, we'll show the Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal homepage and ways in which the capabilities of Compliance Manager can help organizations improve their compliance posture. So part one of this demo, we'll be walking through the Compliance Portal homepage and how to customize the card view in the navigation panel. In order to get to the Purview homepage, we can go to admin.microsoft.com and then click on Compliance from the left-hand nav page. This will lead us to the Purview portal. Another way is simply typing in compliance.microsoft.com, and that will take us to the same location. So when we first log in the very first time, we'll be presented with a welcome message that can help us guide through, specific next steps in configuring the portal. It'll also tell us how to, provide feedback on the portal. Once we click through that, it'll disappear, and now we've got our dashboard view where we can start customizing our cards like we can do on the admin portal as well as the security portal. So here, we can click on cards and we can add additional cards. We can already see that I've already added all the cards that are available as I am a global administrator for the account, but we can customize, remove cards, go and add ones that we do want to see. If I want to bring that back, then again, we can bring it back and add it as necessary. So there are ways to manipulate that and then changing the order in which the cards are appearing. If I want to move active alerts over here and, let's say we bring insider management or insider risk management up top, we can do that and just manipulate things and move them around as necessary. And it doesn't want to go there because this is a split tab. There we go. So moving things around as we would like. So the card section of the homepage just gives us an at-a-glance kind of view as to what is available in our organization, what our compliance posture is, and the different solutions that are there. So from this window, we can scroll through and see the different solutions, but one of the ones that I want to call out is definitely the Compliance Manager score, and that gives us a decent understanding of the compliance score that our organization is currently sitting under. As we're looking at every card, again, I was showing that earlier, we can click on the ellipsis and then remove any cards that we do not need. We can also add them as shown previously through there. So it effectively allows us to customize our navigation and our view from that standpoint. Now on the left-hand navigation side, we've got our primary view, which covers, roles and scopes. We've got different trial options that are available here. We've also got data classification, data connectors, alerts, policies, roles and scopes, and things that are calling out. So kind of a generic overall segmentation. And then on the left-hand side as well, we do have solutions that are shown here. And so these are specific products that are part of the Purview family that we can dive into and do additional configurations on. So for example, if I wanted to create a data loss prevention policy, I can navigate into the primary view of data loss prevention, create policies, alerts, endpoint DLP settings, and an activity explorer from a DLP standpoint. If I was an eDiscovery manager or administrator, then the eDiscovery portal might be of more interest to me. And these are all customizable and visible through the various access and roles and scopes that you can define to allow users to have specific access to different applications. So again, you can customize this navigation pane by adding your specific segments, and we can look at customizing the navigation here by adding or removing additional items as they're appearing in the list. So that can be customized according to your role as well as according to your own taste and how you want to manage the portal. Another option here that is really interesting, and so this is kicking off part two, is the Compliance Manager point of view. And so from the left-hand navigation panel of the Purview Compliance Portal, we can see a Compliance Manager up here at the top. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now at the top of the Compliance Manager page, we can see that by default, it loads up our overview. So our overview segment just shows us actions that can improve the overall compliance score. It shows us the improvement actions, the solutions that affect our score, and our overall score as well, and how many points of a maximum of how many points have been achieved by us, and any other additional information that is broken down by specific subjects and categorizations. Again, this is another score that is filterable. So if we want to dig into very specific information, we can look at applying specific regulations to the score and seeing where we have improvement actions that target a specific regulation. We can also target the data protection baseline, which is Microsoft's baseline that's built off of parts of GDPR as well as Microsoft's own approach and some other regulations. So we can apply that and look at where we fit from a baseline standpoint. But if we want to filter by solution or action types, then we can definitely do that as well. What's fun about solutioning by filtering on solution is that you can see the actions that will affect that specific solution, and then kind of do that cross collaboration between the solution and compliance manager in order to overall increase your secure score, or your compliance score, sorry. So as we dig into individual actions, we can look at this sort of breadcrumb approach to how we can improve our overall compliance score. So we can actually click on View All Improvement Actions, or from the top here, click on Improvement Actions. So from the top of the page as well, there are a bunch of different tabs to Compliance Manager. We can see Overview, Improvement Actions, there's Solutions and Assessments, Regulations, Alerts and Alert Policies. So let's go ahead and look at Solutions. But just before that, I did want to touch on the improvement actions. So as we're looking through here, similar concept to Secure Score, we're looking at information. We can click through every single one that will help us understand more precisely how our organization is hitting that score or not hitting the score, and what we can do to overall go ahead and improve that. So we get details on how to use Microsoft solutions to implement, what is affecting the compliance manager score that it's getting. We can assign the task to specific individuals. We can track how it's being implemented. We can look for evidence, prove that it's been implemented properly, and also see what related controls this applies to according to the regulations that we've applied to our organization. So hopping back to Compliance Manager view now, and I was doing that from the top of the screen there, let's hop into Solutions. And so from Solutions, we can see how solutions can contribute to our score, as well as any remaining opportunity for individual solutions here. So I can see from attack simulation training, that's something that's available in my organization, as this template or this tenant does have an E5 license. So I can see that attack simulation training has 0 of 9 points, but I could go and increase my overall compliance score by 9 points if I go into the configurations that are attached to this solution. Also from the top of the page here is assessments. So on this page, we'll see data protection baseline for Microsoft 365, as well as any other assessments that I might have run that were pulled into the tenant for a different reason. So in this case, I tried running Canada PIPEDA. Let's go ahead and click on data protection baseline. So again, this baseline assessment has a set of controls for key regulations and standards for data protection and general data regulation and governance. So Compliance Manager becomes more helpful as you add your own assessments and things that you're required to meet from a compliance or an organizational standard need, essentially. So as we're building through this, you can break down the different controls that are being applied. We can see our improvement actions. And what's really great about these assessments too is that we can see what actions Microsoft has performed that achieve the points as required by the regulation. And so this will adapt to the different assessments that we want to apply. So I digged into the data protection baseline. Let's say we look at the Canada PIPEDA assessment that was run against the current configuration of this tenant, we can see that I only hit 32%, and that 32% is coming from Microsoft because Microsoft has already achieved pretty much all the points in the configuration. Though again, some of these configuration points might be shared responsibility, where Microsoft does a part of the configuration, but I have to go as the admin and finalize that configuration myself afterwards. From the top here, we can also click on regulations. So the regulations portion lists out regulations that are available to the organization, and we can also create our own assessments from available templates. You can also use premium templates. So the premium templates are available here and you can import them. There are additional costs associated with premium templates at some point, but you can create other default templates as included. So it's just to be aware of the availability of premium templates within your license SKU. So definitely reach out to your account team and get information on that as you're walking through those. Also from the top of the page here, we can see alerts that are available. Alerts that we want to configure or compliance alerts that have been triggered. So we can assign this specific alert to a user and then action on it. So these are alerts that have been configured through other policies or other configurations that are showing up here. And these are alerts that were triggered for specific reasons, such as in this case, the compliance score changed. So likely there were additions added to compliance score that impacted negatively or regressed my score because of upgraded solutions or changes to regulation or things like that. So it's good to have that kind of alerting going on. So that means that I can go in and then investigate what changed and why, and then apply the fixes as necessary. Also from here, we do have the alert policy configuration. So I can add additional alert policies and then configure the conditions as required. Who do I want to contact if something changes and things like that. So to return back to the home page to look at my cards, just click the home button up at the top left nav, and we are good to go. So in this demo, we talked about Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal, the homepage, as well as some capabilities of Compliance Manager and how that can help organizations improve their overall compliance posture. So quick tip, definitely use Compliance Manager and definitely filter based on the solution that you're looking to implement and look at the improvement actions and perform those improvement actions. So good luck on your deployment. Microsoft runs on trust. So here you'll explore the Service Trust Portal for content on how Microsoft delivers on our commitment to trust. You'll also learn about Microsoft Priva, a solution to help meet privacy goals. And after completing this learning objective, you'll be able to describe the offerings of the Service Trust Portal, as well as describe Microsoft privacy principles and describe Microsoft Priva. Let's take a look. The Service Trust Portal, or STP, is Microsoft's public site for publishing audit reports and other compliance-related information associated with Microsoft's cloud services. The STP users can download audit reports produced by external auditors and gain insights from Microsoft-authored white papers. And these provide additional details on how Microsoft Cloud Services protect your data and how you can manage cloud data security and compliance for your organization. So accessing the Service Trust Portal is pretty simple. To access some of these resources in the Service Trust Portal, you must log in as an authenticated user with your Microsoft Cloud Services account. So you can use your Entra ID organizational account and review and accept the Microsoft non-disclosure agreement for compliance materials. Once you're inside the Service Trust Portal landing page, it includes content that's organized into several categories. You've got certifications, regulations, and standards, security implementation and design information, with the goal of making it easier for you to understand regulatory. Hang on, I'm going to take that over again. So when you log into the Service Trust Portal, when you hit that landing page, it includes content that's organized into the following categories. You've got certifications, regulations, and standards. So that's security implementation and design information with the goal of making it easier for you to meet regulatory compliance objectives by understanding how Microsoft Cloud Services keep your data secure. There's also the reports, white papers, and artifacts. And this section includes general documents relating to the following categories: BCP and DR, so business continuity and disaster recovery, penetration test and security assessments, so attestation of pen tests and security assessments conducted by third parties, privacy and data protection, so privacy and data protection resources, as well as facts and white papers, where white papers answer those frequently asked questions. There's also the industry and regional resources, and this section includes documents that apply to the following industries and regions. Financial services, so resources elaborating regulatory compliance by guidance for FSI, and that's by country and region. There's also the healthcare and life sciences, so capabilities offered by Microsoft for the healthcare industry. There's media entertainment, so media entertainment industry resources. United States government resources exclusively for US government customers. Regional resources, so documents describing compliance with Microsoft's online services with various regional policies and regulations. And resources for your organization, and this section lists documents that apply to your organization restricted by tenant, and so that's based on your organization's subscription and its own permissions. So let's take a look at what the STP looks like and jump right in. All right, in this demo, we'll show the features and content available from the Service Trust portal, and also included is navigating the Trust Center to view information about privacy at Microsoft. So in this part, let's just take a look at what the Service Trust portal is, how we can access the reports, and how we can save those reports to our library. So let's open up a web browser, which I already have up on the screen, and we will go to aka.ms/STP for Service Trust portal. So this will bring us to the landing page for the Service Trust portal, and the STP contains details about Microsoft's implementation of controls and processes that protect our cloud services and customer data. So to access some of the resources in the STP, we first have to sign in with an authenticated user using our Microsoft Cloud Services account, so the one that's tied to our tenant. So in this case, I'm already logged into Microsoft Edge browser with Megan Bowen. So let's just click sign in, and technically it should auto log me in. Okay, no, I do have to go and select my account here, so let's go ahead and do that. And as she's already logged in, I don't have to go and re-enter my password, but now I'm logged into the Service Trust portal. So as we're looking at the Service Trust portal when we first get here, this is kind of just the default view. If we scroll down here, we can see different categorizations. We can see certifications, regulations, standards, reports, white papers, and artifacts, as well as industry and regional resources, resources for our organization, and compliance program around the Microsoft Cloud. So we can see a bunch of different information around the different categorization that's available here. We can also, if we scroll back to the top, we can see the different informations and breakdown of the different regulations and standards that are shown here. So if we click through to one, let's go look at ISO IEC. We can see all the documents that are tied to this specific regulation, as well as a description of what that regulation is, or what that standard is, and how the applicable documents tie to it in the different areas. So let's say I've read through this specific ISO test base for Microsoft 365. I can click on the ellipsis here, and I can actually download that document if I want to, or I can save it to my library. So when I save it to my library, it'll mention if it's part of a series of documents, and it will subscribe me to the series so that I'll be notified if there's changes to the series or changes to the documents. So if I want to proceed, I'll say yes. Do I want to receive email notifications? I can decide whether or not I do. For now, sure, why not? How often do I want to be daily notified? Well, let's just say on a monthly basis, because maybe they don't change too often, or if they do, I only care about that on a monthly basis. So now if I want to go and see information that's been added to my library, up at the top here, I do have the homepage for the Service Trust portal, so that'll take me back home. I also had the option to click on My Library. And from the My Library view here, I can go and see any of the documents that I have signed up to receive. So here I can go and click through it and then download that document and investigate and read through the content as I feel like. So I could also download it as a PDF file, but I could also view previous versions of the document and scan back for historical views of that same document. So here I can download it, and then it'll launch the download for that document. And after agreeing with the non-disclosure agreement, of course, I can then go and read through that document as required. So if I head back to Service Trust Portal now, one of the other advantages about the Service Trust Portal is that it does tie things to industry and regional resources. So depending on where my region is, what kind of industry I'm in, it will suggest specific information to the industry that I want to investigate in particular. So let's say that my tenant, Contoso, is a bank. So I'm really curious about financial service information and resources that tie to that. So then I can click through and see different information tied to that specific subject. If I head back though, there is an option for resources for my organization. And so what it does is it looks at organizational documents based on my subscription, as well as the permissions that are tied to my organization. And it will go and pull together information that should be of high interest to me as my organization is managed. So, FedRAMP, things like that. I can then click through and it'll pull together all that documentation that I might need. So definitely a way to look through information as required. So let's say I click on this one instead. Yeah, so clearly, there's some part of the subscription doesn't allow me to have access to that for some reason. So I've picked some wrong examples, as is wont with a demo. It does not always go to plan. Yeah, so anyways, typically you'd see any documents that were based on your organization's requirements. So we'd be able to click through and then see documents related to that. However, it is still possible to go and search for individual documents based on industry need or based on specific certifications, regulations, and standards. So that covers our review of the Service Trust Portal, how to use the My Library feature to save documents for future review. And additionally, we could also check out the Trust Center. Also from the Service Trust Portal, now that we're back on the home page here, we can also go and look at reports, white papers, and artifacts. So if we wanted to go grab some, business continuity, disaster recovery reports, or pen test and security assessment information, then we can click through here and it'll take us to the Service Trust Portal segment that covers the specific categorization that we were selecting earlier. We can also open up specific links to the Trust Center, which will take us to a different location depending on the type of report that we pick. So let's say we take the privacy and data protection view. So now looking at the data protection view here, we've got different applicable documents that are available for review. Let's say I click through to one of these. And again, I can go and download it and view all the different versions. There's also a portal called the Trust Center. If I go back to here and I click Learn More, so after having selected the different reports, if I click Learn More here, this will actually take me to the Trust Center, which is a portal that helps define more information around privacy and a bunch of different information about where the data is located, how securing your data, how we do all these types of things with your data, and different types of privacy laws that this data applies to. So another place that you can investigate, and again, the two are tightly linked together, so you can see how they are related at that level. So again, in this demo, we explored some of the options available under the Service Trust portal, how to use the My Library feature in order to save documents, and we also visited the Trust Center very rapidly so that we can access and review information about privacy at Microsoft. Microsoft's approach to privacy is built on the following 6 principles. Control, putting you, the customer, in control of your data and your privacy with easy to use tools and clear choices. So your data is your business and you can access, modify, delete it at any time. Microsoft will not use your data without your agreement. And when we have your agreement, we use your data to provide only the services that you've chosen. Transparency. We only process your data based on the agreement in accordance with the strict policies and procedures that we've contractually agreed to. So when we deploy subcontractors or sub-processors to perform work that requires access to your data, they can only perform the functions that Microsoft has hired them to provide. And they're bound by the same contractual privacy commitments that Microsoft makes to you. Security. So with state-of-the-art encryption, Microsoft protects your data both at rest and in transit. All Microsoft managed encryption keys are properly secured and offer the use of technologies such as Azure Key Vault to help you control access to passwords and encryption keys and other secrets. Strong legal protections. So respecting local privacy laws and fighting for legal protection of privacy as a fundamental human right, Microsoft defends your data through clearly defined and well-established response policies and processes. So those are strong contractual commitments and, if necessary, the courts. We will not disclose data to a government or a law enforcement agency except as you direct or are required by law. If Microsoft receives a request for your data, we'll promptly notify you and provide a copy of the requested unless legally prohibited from doing so. We'll challenge every government request for commercial and public sector customer data where we can lawfully do so. No content-based targeting. Not using email, chat, files, or other personal content to target advertising. We do not share your data with advertiser-supported services, nor do we mine it for any purposes like marketing research or advertising. Benefits to you. When Microsoft does collect data, it's used to benefit you, the customer, and to make your experience better. For example, troubleshooting. Troubleshooting for prevention, detecting, and repairing problems affecting operations of services. Feature improvement. So ongoing improvement of features, including increasing reliability, protection of services and data, and personalized customer experience. So data is used to provide personalized improvements and better customer experience. Privacy is top of mind for organizations and consumers today, and concerns about how private data is handled are steadily increasing. Regulations and laws impact people around the world, so setting rules for how organizations store personal data and giving people the rights to manage personal data collected by an organization are crucial. So to meet regulatory requirements and build customer trust, organizations need to take privacy by default, take that stance of privacy by default, rather than manual processes and patchwork of tools and organizations and how they've previously handled it. We need a comprehensive solution to address common challenges such as helping employees adopt sound data handling practices and training them to spot and fix issues, understanding the potential risk in the amount of data, the amount and type of personal data that they've stored and shared, and fulfilling data subject requests or subject rights requests efficiently and on time. Microsoft Priva helps you meet these challenges so you can achieve your privacy goals. Priva's capabilities are available through 2 solutions. There's Priva Privacy Risk Management, which provides visibility into your organization's data and policy templates for reducing risks, and Priva Subject Rights Requests, which provides automation and workflow tools fulfilling data requests. Priva Privacy Risk Management. So this helps you understand the data your organization stores by automating discovery of personal data assets and providing visualizations for essential information. So these visualizations can be found on the overview and data profile pages, and the overview dashboard provides an overall view into your organization's data in Microsoft 365. So privacy administrators can monitor these trends and activities and identify and investigate potential risks involving personal data. So this springboards into key activities like policy management or subject right requests. So the data profile page in Priva provides a snapshot view of the personal data that your organization stores. And in Microsoft 365 and where it lives, you can also get that insight into the types of data that you're storing. So essentially, it evaluates your organization's data stored in the following 365 services: Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, OneDrive for Business, and Microsoft Teams. So privacy risk management in Microsoft Priva gives you the ability or the capability to set up policies that identify privacy risks in your 365 environment and enable easy remediation. So privacy risk management policies are meant to be internal guides and can help you detect overexposed personal data so that users can secure it, spot and limit transfers of personal data across departments or regional borders, and help users identify and reduce the amount of unused personal data that you store. So Priva subject rights requests are pretty much just in accordance with privacy regulations around the world. Individuals or data subjects may make requests to review and manage the personal data about themselves that companies have collected. These requests are sometimes also referred to as data subject requests, DSRs, and data subject access requests, or DSARs, or even consumer rights requests. So for companies that store large amounts of information, finding the relevant data can be kind of a formidable task. And Microsoft Priva can help you handle these inquiries through subject rights request solution. So it provides workflow automation and collaboration capabilities for you to search out for this subject data, review your findings, and then collect appropriate files and produce reports. All right, well, let's get started with a session learning about Microsoft 365 pricing, licensing, and support. What we'll be focusing on is learning how people and organizations can get the most out of their Microsoft 365 investments through the different pricing models, continuous support, and licensing options that are designed to meet their needs. So after completing this learning objective, you'll be able to describe pricing models available for Microsoft 365 Microsoft Cloud Services, describe billing management features such as billing frequency and methods of payment, and describe the differences between base licensing and add-on licensing. All right, so you can find a suitable CSP at I'm looking for a solution provider. There's also the opportunity to learn more about benefits of Microsoft Enterprise Agreement at the Enterprise Agreement link below. You can also learn more information about trying out the free trial subscriptions at Try or Buy Microsoft 365 for Business subscription, and those are the links that you'll find below. Microsoft 365 billing is managed from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And the Admin Center allows you to manage subscriptions, view billing statements, update payment methods, and change your billing frequency and more. So there's a lot of different options that are around there. So consumption-based pricing charges, so paying only for what you use, and fixed pricing. So there's a bunch of different options that we'll be able to explore a bit later. So the pricing associated with your account depends on the subscription and the number of licensed users. So each service has a specific price that's typically rated on a per user or per month basis. One thing to note though is that the plans, the exact set of features, the pricing and licensing requirements can vary between countries and regions. So if you require a Microsoft 365 subscription in a non-US organization, contact your regional sales representative to learn what subscriptions, plans, features, and pricing are available. A license or a base license allows users to use the features and services included in the subscription plan. So when you buy a subscription, you specify the number of licenses that you need based on the number of people you have in your organization. So after you buy a subscription, you create the accounts for the people in your organization, and then you assign a license to each person. So as your organizational needs change, you can buy more licenses to accommodate new people, or reassign licenses to other users when someone leaves your organization. So Microsoft 365 products and services are available as user subscription licenses, or USLs, and are licensed on a per user basis. So each user accessing Microsoft 365 products and services is required to be assigned a USL. Administrators manage licenses from the Admin Center, and they can assign licenses to individual users or guest accounts. So now let's take a look at the billing and management aspects within the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So we're going to dive into this demo right now. In this demo, we'll be looking at showing how user and billing management features in Microsoft 365 Admin Center work. We'll also walk through how to add user licenses, talk about payment methods, and we'll also show options around the navigation panel to help manage users and billing. So to get started, let's hop into our browser here and go to admin.microsoft.com. And we'll sign in with our admin credentials. And as you can see, I'd already been open with Megan Bowen's account, so we're good to go on that front. Now on the left-hand nav panel, we can see additional options here. So let's go ahead and open up our active users. We can see our users by display name. So if I click on Adele, I can go and dig in and see which user and license she has assigned to her. On this view as well, there is ways to add additional columns. So I can add additional columns here, and I can see if I want to add a specific usage location, maybe first name, last name, department, a bunch of different information can be added here. So in this case, I'm currently viewing it by display name and username, and that's fine. Alternatively, when we are looking at the simplified view, we're seeing the same sort of column view here, and we can see a breakdown, but it's a little bit more limited on what's visible, so we can see the licenses as well as the username and that user sign-in. So from here, if we want to go and look at the different licenses, again, it's just clicking through to the user. That opens up a user blade, and then we can see what licenses are currently assigned to that user. So right here, we can see the different licenses that we currently have available. We can also go and look at requests. So any requests that are made from members of the organization to get additional licensing, and auto claim policies and things like that. But here, primarily, we're going to see, our breakdown of licenses. So we can click on a license and see, which users have that license assigned, and kind of see a bit more information at that level. Another option is going to your products, and we can also see the different products that are included, what those products are, and what benefits are included with those products, which at the moment is not something that we're going to see on this tenant. The marketplace is another great option here if you're looking to try out different aspects of different products within Microsoft 365. So let's say I wanted to just go and grab an in-product trial, say Defender for Endpoint. So I've got some options here to kick off a Defender for Endpoint P1 trial or P2 trial. And there's a bunch of different options here where we can go into the details and then explore the options around kicking off that trial, or even just going through here to purchase additional licenses. Now, if we look at our billing accounts, here we can see different accounts that are available from a billing perspective. So we can see Contoso is one of our billing accounts. We've got information around what the account is, and any agreement information that's tied to that account, as well as any aspects that are required to edit if we needed to update things or add additional information. From a bill and payments standpoint, we can see any invoices that are upcoming or outstanding. We can also add our payment methods through here. So any payment methods that are required to be added in order to submit proper payments, and major credit cards are accepted. So we can walk through that setting and add ourselves a credit card that would be tied to a license renewal. From a billing notification standpoint, going through here, we can look at whether or not we want to invoice the PDF or invoice as a PDF, so that we add that as a PDF directly to our email. Who's the contact information that's going to be receiving that bill, and any additional information that needs to be added. Do we need to add billing admins or global admins, or assign specific roles to a different account so that they receive admin purchases. So again, under the marketplace, we can go and add additional licenses as needed, or trials as we feel is necessary, and also explore just different aspects that are recommended. So, things, suggestions around how we can improve our tenant, and also explore, products that are available within the Microsoft 365 tenancy. So ultimately in this demo, we just reviewed user billing management features and Microsoft 365, the Admin Center, and learned how to manipulate our users, licensing and how those have been assigned, as well as add payment methods and explore other options from a navigational perspective. So next up, what we're going to look at is creating a service request. So in this portion of the demo, we're going to create a service request, a support request from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And this is just in case, help is needed with Microsoft 365. So we can also see where we can view our existing support requests as well. So on the left-hand nav here, we're going to say show all and expand the navigation to its entirety. And underneath billing, we have the option here for support. So let's click on support and let's look at help and support. And here what we get presented with is a wizard that we can talk to. So let's say I'm having some issues with, let's see, what am I having issues with? Exchange, mailbox, not migrating. There we go. So it will propose some interesting alternative ways to help identify the issue that I'm facing. So I could look at, how to set up Exchange Online or migrate Mailbox to Exchange Online. And it will suggest some, insights or feedback around different aspects that are being configured actively. So I can look at, if there's additional help available on different links, where, what could tie directly to that migration aspect. And if I still absolutely need help, then I've got the option up here to click the headset icon. I can chat with a live support agent. I could also phone for critical service requests in case something is not working at all, or we could send an email to place that service request. There's also additional information here that we'll provide, such as their time zone and if we speak a different language than English. From here as well, we can view historic service requests that had been previously placed, and there's a way to see that from the view service requests under the support icon here as well. So this shows us our historical service requests as well as any ongoing service requests that are required. After filling out the information in a service request, so let's head back there. We'll click on our contact support. I could say phone. Now we fill out some title information, a description of the problem. We provide our phone number and provide some additional consent as needed. We can also add additional accessibility related concerns in case we do have any. Let's say I didn't want to go with a phone request. So let's go back here and say email request. Again, it'll add additional consent options and who is the authorized contact. So as we're filling out the information, it will grab the content that I had provided as the title of the issue, and then I can provide additional content here. Remember to provide concise and clear descriptions of the issue that you're facing, and that'll help resolve the issue faster. So in this portion of the demo, we walked through how to create and view support requests in Microsoft 365 Admin Center. And now you know how to contact support if you're having an issue in Microsoft 365, and how to view the status of those existing support requests if you need to. It's vital that organizations know that the products and services they're using are reliable and secure. And Microsoft 365 Services guarantees levels of service for your organization. And levels of service are detailed in a legal agreement referred to as a service level agreement. The SLA describes Microsoft's commitment for uptime connectivity for Microsoft Online Services. And you can view and download the current and archived editions of the SLAs for online services at the following link. It's crucial for an organization to also know the health status of Microsoft 365 services. Your organization's administrators can use the Microsoft 365 Admin Center to view the current health status of each of your Microsoft 365 services and tenants. They can also view the history of services that have been affected in the last 30 days and information about current outages and disruptions to services. It's useful to view the health to find out whether you're dealing with a known issue that has already been solutioned or there's a solution already being in progress. So that way you don't spend too much time troubleshooting or if you should contact support. So always double check the health status before opening a support ticket. Always double check the health status as the very first step in your troubleshooting process. Take advantage of the different ways you can share your thoughts as well. So Microsoft is always looking for feedback on our products and services from you and from people around the world. So to learn more about providing feedback, please visit the following link and definitely provide us with that information. It's super valuable. We love to hear your feedback and we want to know how to make our products better. So this concludes our Microsoft 365 Virtual Training Day, where we talked about Microsoft 365 fundamentals. So let's recap all of the content that you've seen so far. And I know it's been like drinking from the fire hose, but bear with me. Let's just touch on all the points individually, and then we'll wrap this all up with a nice clean ribbon. So Microsoft 365 is a cloud service. So we touched on that. We talked about how it can help you work and live better with these Office apps, as well as the different smart cloud features that are available. We talked about the productivity and collaboration solutions in Microsoft 365, things like OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams. We also looked at the concept and benefits of cloud computing. So benefits such as accessing your data and services from anywhere, and then the possibility of scaling and cost savings around that scaling and reliability, as well as the security all up of these cloud services. Then we also talked about the different types of cloud services, such as SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. At this point, I really hope you're able to understand which each of those means, because that's a really crucial part of this course. So remember, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. We also talked about endpoint modernization, where we discussed management options and deployment options in Microsoft 365, things such as Windows 10, Windows 11, Microsoft Endpoint Manager, and Autopilot. We talked about analytic capabilities as well, and that's something that's really great. The telemetry that we can see and find within our Microsoft 365 tenant, things like Power BI, My Analytics, and Workspace Analytics are just phenomenal. Microsoft Entra ID, we spent a lot of time focused on the cloud-based identity and access management service. And that's what helps secure our organization and enable user productivity with different identity types and access management features. We also looked at Microsoft 365 Defender, which is a unified enterprise defense suite that helps you protect your organization from advanced threats across endpoints, identities, email, and applications. Then we talked about Microsoft Purview, where we dived into the compliance world and explored things around data governance and how to discover, catalog, map, and control data across our on-premise and cloud and hybrid networks. We talked about Microsoft Service Trust Portal and the privacy capabilities, as well as help you understand how to comply with various regulations and standards using something like Compliance Manager. We touched on the pricing and billing models available for cloud services, such as pay-as-you-go, reserved instances, things like that, hybrid benefits. We talked about licensing options as well, available for M365, how base licensing works, add-on licensing, things like that. We touched on the different support offerings that are available and how to create support requests through the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. We took a look at the different service level agreements and concepts on how to find SLAs for different cloud services. And we talked about tracking service health through the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and how to subscribe to service health notifications so that we can actually get those in real time. We also talked about how to provide feedback to Microsoft 365 and that we're always looking for feedback from our customers. So keep in mind, take advantage of that feedback button and use it. We really want that feedback. So that summarizes essentially what we covered today and yesterday on this course. I'd like to thank you for attending, and we hope you really enjoyed these sessions. I know I did. I had a really great time doing this. Remember, there are many ways to continue your learning journey, such as MS Learn, where we offer a ton of self-paced learning options. And be sure to check out calendar events for more Microsoft Virtual Training Days. So thank you again, and have a great rest of your day.